And we are back with more from the Aramaic scriptures from the Bible, the closest that we have from the original manuscript, and then begin to understand in the Hebrew perspective of it, and then we can start understanding the importance of the Hebrew brothers of returning to their camps, because we, the Goyim, or the Gentiles, we are eagerly waiting for the services of Ruach HaKodesh. We begin to understand in a Gentile world that there is no gifting from the Spirit. People are having only demonic activity that doesn't produce works of justice. So then the only people endowed with Ruach HaKodesh is obviously the Hebrew people. And when they are obviously saved, they believe in the Mashiach, then they themselves, they can be functioned in Ruach HaKodesh, but they have to be in their camps, as told by Yahweh. Otherwise there are no functions. There are lots of knowledge. Important having knowledge. But knowledge from Ruach HaKodesh is not the same knowledge of gathering through the centuries. There is a huge distinction. Only because they have the ability of translating languages doesn't mean they have the function of tongues and interpretation of tongues from Ruach HaKodesh. It's not the same. And then the other miracles, prophecy, healing, discernment of spirits. Those are extremely important. And then the Gentiles are waiting for the Hebrew brothers to return to their camps, so then we can receive the functions through them. In other words, we are then the beneficiary of receiving words from heaven through their functionings. Israel, unfortunately, Israel was deceived. They were doing great for the first century, and then later came apart. They were ruling until 1009, but there were tiny groups there and there and there and there, and then it wasn't the same when it first started. But then the situation is this: the Creator is coming to the earth to do His part of half of the Torah and half of the prophets. And boy, when He comes, it must be done as per plan. The point is, the Savior is not going to return and save the people out of their troubles. This is a pagan viewpoint of thinking that the Savior would come and rescue them from this perverse and twisted world. That's a pagan understanding. If you are not obedient to the instructions, why is He coming to save you from? He is coming to save those that are obedient. Understand from revelation. He is not coming during the time prior of revelation. Put your heads to work. Revelation is the time when He's coming. Yom Teruah, the sound of the shofar. Autumn. And He's not coming as the Savior anymore. Do you understand this point? He's not going to save you. He's coming for vengeance. Because the instructions were given and the power to do what the instructions states to do was also provided. So if you are not obedient to the instructions, where did you get your understanding that the Savior would come to rescue from? Can't you understand that you were deceived from a twisted copy of the word from pagan countries? And then watch our own nation, America. What is the most prominent buildings of our country? From Roman descendancy. And Romans are liars. They are simply liars. They were faithful at first, as Shaul said. They were the very famous people in the world of being faithful to the Messiah. Later, pride entered them, and they changed the laws. They became liars of the worst kind, scoundrels of the worst type ever existed. Watch then our country. The most prominent buildings, they have Roman architecture. Don't you think then the scriptures would be manipulated? Liars. Absolutely liars. What is a lie is a lie. What is the truth is the truth. Functions of Ruach HaKodesh only granted to the Hebrew people. Those are the set apart when they are obedient and in their camps. Gentiles, they have nothing. They don't have any of it. Thus maintaining the holy position of the Creator. What is not is not. What it is. What is holy is holy. What is unholy, unholy. Cornelius' situation was a lie, and then the pour out of the Spirit. Oh boy, what Spirit was! Ruach HaKodesh. No, Ruach HaKodesh only is given to the set apart. And there are said prophets in our country that they speak so boldly in the name of a deity they don't even know. They don't prophesy in the name of Yahweh. They prophesy in another deity. Deceived. Impartation of demons upon people. This is what they do. Do you think they're strange presences when they pray over them? Do you think it's holy? Huh. Absolutely unholy. That's why Shaul mentioned in the 5th chapter of Hebrews, making sure then the senses are exercised. Senses are the many names of the Creator. So every time they were facing situations, they would have a sense related with it from the Creator, so they would not impart junk from themselves. Come on, that's a regular thinking from those that are coming from the line of the Hebrews. It's a form of protection. And then ask these scoundrels posing themselves as prophets, do they have their senses exercised in the many names of the Creator? Do they speak the holy language? Are they function in Ruach HaKodesh? No. They are liars. Deceiving thousands around the world. There are people that spend their whole lives lying. Lying to you at your face. How can you stand in the presence of these scoundrels and you don't study your own word? And then they flock together to these liars, and then they give their resources and their money for them to lie around the world. There are no giftings outside of the camp. That's why the Creator has given them only to the Hebrew people saved in the Mashiach. Only they themselves have the functions. They have to function in a certain way from high above. It's not a gifting. The word gift is pagan. The word gifting is as if you would receive a present to do whatever you want with it. You don't do whatever you want with it. You function as per told. Ruach HaKodesh says what to say and what to do, and you obey. Function. Thousands of people in this country that were deceived. These ministries outside the camp, those are lies, pure lies. Understand the concept from the time of Shaul. At the end of times, they would concoct for themselves teachers of liars. Comes only destruction. Any ministry not related with the camps of the Hebrews, those are lies, plain lies. Some people are 20, 30, 40, 50 years in the same junk. Any kind of a ministry outside of the camp is a lie. Simple lie. They lie in your face. False creator, false savior, false doctrine, false teaching. And you yourself is stupid because you don't take the time to study the original manuscript. There is. You begin to understand from the Aramaic copy first, because we ourselves, being Gentiles, understanding the instructions from the Creator can be a bit overwhelming. So then we start with the teachings of the Savior. His name is Yahweh, Yeshua. What did He say? What did He teach? Then we begin to understand what He said. Then the references of the previous covenant, then we refer to the original. But then we must understand there are layers of understanding. They are not to be placed on a flat surface. Pagan cultures, they have to place every situation in a surface, plain surface. So then they pick each part and they try to make it to work. In Hebrew it is not so. Those they come in layers. As the first layer means until a certain point. There is another layer that goes on top of it or below it, and they are related. Layers of understanding. That's why so many churches, they simply don't work. They were never meant to work. And then on top of it, they think the Creator will have to act in a certain area, in a certain time, as per their wishes. This is how insane these people are. If God, they don't even know what kind of a God is. Or if the Creator wants to act in a certain way, He has to act during this time, when these people are together, and then at their own pleasure. Bad news, He won't. He's far away they can ever imagine. And then themselves, they think they are exempt from His own instructions. Do you think He's going to show up? There is Shaul mentioned many times. Renewing the mind with the word. During the time of Shaul, what was the word? The instructions from the Hebrews. There is no gifting from outside of the camps. Every ministry outside of the camp is a lie. Do you understand? It is a lie. Plain lie. There is no gifting. There is information. Information there is. Gifting, no. Functions, no. Functions are only in a camp.